The new version of FCP Cut Finder uses a new algorithm to identify cuts between scenes, which is faster and more efficient. As always, to find scene changes in a video, drag the file into the large window, and when the pre-scan is complete, you can start the analysis. There are no longer any settings for analysis, because all values are already set appropriately by default. A 1-minute video at 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second is analyzed in just over 30 seconds on a MacBook Pro M1 computer with an M1 Pro processor. The results are significantly faster with newer processors and more cores. Once the scan is complete, this part of the screen shows how much each frame changes from the previous one, and scene changes that have been found are highlighted with yellow bars. Press the Cut List button to bring up this window showing all scene changes. For each scene change, the time code at which it occurs is highlighted, along with the confidence percentage. The higher the percentage, the more likely it is to be an actual cut. FCP Cut Finder assigns a probability percentage that indicates how likely it is that what has been found is actually a scene change. Below are 3 buttons that we will explain shortly. On the right are the 2 images before and after the cut, with the previous frame on the left and the next frame on the right, so you can easily compare them with your eyes. Click on the Sort by Delta button. Now all the cuts are sorted from the least likely at the top to the most likely at the bottom. As you can see, the closer you get to the bottom, i.e., the most likely cuts, the more obvious the change between one frame and the next. Go back to the top to look at the frames with the least likely scene changes. Most likely, these first scene changes found are false positives. Scroll down until you find the first actual scene change. Now click on the percentage button. All previous cuts will be ignored because the minimum threshold will be raised automatically. As you can see, immediately after the first cut that you considered an actual scene change, there are many others that are false positives. Click on the blade button to force this cut. Scroll down to the next frame, which represents an actual change. Repeat the process. Click on the percentage button. All suggested cuts that were not actual scene changes will be ignored, except for the first one, which was forced. If you are not sure whether the identified cut is a false positive or a real cut, click on the Test button. This window will open, showing the moments before and after the cut in larger size so that you can choose with confidence. If it is a scene change, click on the Force Cut button, otherwise click on Ignore. Scroll down, and if you encounter other false positives, click on the rectangle button to indicate that it is a false positive and that this cut should not be considered. Continue for a while longer, at which point there will be no more false positives and you can proceed with the export. In the main window, click on Export, and Final Cut Pro will open automatically. In this window, choose which library to open the export result in, or create a new one. Click on the event generated by FCP Cut Finder and on the project. This is the result. Each cut corresponds to the marker added at the scene change. In the FCP Cut Finder preferences, you can specify to export the timeline with the clips already cut. And this is the result. In FCP Cut Finder, you can export all clips and related segments as separate videos. In the preferences, you can specify the output format and where these files will be saved. However, for this function, we strongly recommend trying Best Frame, which is designed to evaluate not only the segments but also their quality. This new version of FCP Cut Finder is a free update for owners of the previous version. Discover more at ulti.media/cutfinder.